what is the aim of life is to seek more positive experiences. And you know, what's the I've got a little bit of resentment, but that's my problem. Like there's a little bit of negative feeling, but I'm not going to focus on that because there's no benefit in that. You know, the benefit is in looking at the situation and saying, as you, the first thing you said was, well, things can take a different direction now, can't they? Things can go somewhere else, somewhere different, somewhere better. You know, it's there's no reason why you can't leave one company and go to another company and have a better experience. You know, if you do it in the systematic and intelligent way in another company. And I remember walking into a job one day, walking into work, and the boss said, "I want to speak to you," and the boss said, "You're fired. Get out." And the very next day, I started my own company, or I began the process of starting my own company. So, and it was a question of self-belief. Can I do it? And I had a good group of friends around me who said, "Yeah, you can do it." And I was like, "Yeah, I can do this. This is great." Yeah, that element is key for me. There's a lot of different ways of looking at it, and from all my studies and all my research on children and child development, there's absolutely no positive effect on children from this, and that is you know, that I don't mind if I suffer, but the kids shouldn't suffer, right? I mean, that's my perspective. So, and involving children in your own personal problems, that's kind of a no-no. That shouldn't really happen. So, it's very difficult. It was difficult for me and my kids yesterday. I'm like, okay, you want space, right? If you want space, I will give you space for a couple of days. And the kids are like, don't go. And you know, one of my daughters is here with me right now because she wanted to come with me. So and I will take her back to her brother and sister this evening. But it's the speed of the transformation which is quite shocking. It's like within 72 hours to go from planning the rest of your life to the planning becomes much more complex now because you had two people to work together to do everything. Now there's like only one on each side. You still got to do stupid stuff now, like, okay, we have to divide up the time with the kids 50-50 and stuff. What? It's not that it's not easy. It's that it's stupid. But I mean, that's because you can't do that because, you know, life is sort of an organic experience. You know, you can't just turn on happiness. You can't. You can't do that. It's something that happens if and when and whenever it happens because of whatever is happening, right? You can't. You can plan and prepare some things, but you can never be exactly sure what's going to happen with everything. So you know, this is just crazy from my perspective. You know, like what do we do now? Do I have to get lawyers and go to family courts and stuff? And this is nothing. There's nothing nice about any of this. There's nothing good about any of this. There's just fighting over. There's you can't help but need in life to compromise over over things like children with a partner when you live together, right? It's like, okay, I don't agree with that, but maybe I'm wrong. Whatever. I trust you. Yeah. You trust your partner to do the right thing and make the right decisions. Yeah. You trust the person to be there, right? Yeah. Which is kind of interesting. I mean, there's a couple of the things that stick in our heads are the things that we need to look at and study and try to understand. Like my partner said, I can't trust you. I'm like, what? What do you mean you can't trust me? I mean, I'm the person saying I'm here. Right, forever I'm here. And you're the person who's just said, I'm leaving. And you're saying, I'm leaving because I can't trust you. I'm like, wait a minute. wait a minute. Am I missing some essential piece of information here that doesn't make sense in this process? So it's all very. It's just another example of whenever anybody says or thinks it can't happen to me. It can.
Yeah.
It can. There seems to be no escape. Right? There seems to be no escape. Yeah. So, and that brings the next challenge, the next level, the next experience, the next oh my God, what next, right? Because things can't stay the same. Yeah. So there's obviously still things that need to be solved and sorted and discussed. I don't know if you've ever seen anybody turn before. This is something that's on my mind right now. It's about human beings and behavior and somebody being nice, and then bang, something really not nice happens. I don't know if you've seen that. It's very puzzling to me. I'm very confused. I mean, normally I understand most things. It's something which confuses me right now. Also, another thing that's always true. You never see the things happening that are closest to home. Because obviously the first question that my parents asked me was, didn't you see something coming? Didn't you see any didn't you see any warning flags? I don't know, didn't you see any warnings? And I'm like, if I saw warnings, I would do something, right? Every relationship has problems. I think that's a given. I mean, I just think that this the Hollywood romantic film story is nice, and maybe there's 1 in 10,000 people that find that Hollywood story, but I think that there's no way or path or road except the road of hard work. There's ways to make things a bit easier, but you have to work on everything, and I'm not sure. The changing direction is one way to look at things, but I'm not sure that you benefit when you give up, when you stop. I'm not sure there's any benefit to things when you stop. Yeah. You know, I once had a business problem, and I probably mentioned this before, but I asked somebody for help, and they said, "Explain to me your strategy." And I was like, "It's difficult to explain." And he said, "Well, that's because it's not exactly right in your head." Yeah. Because if you can't communicate it, then you haven't got it organized and sorted properly. So yeah, a different perspective, a different way, a different approach can. It's a different kind of reaction. Yeah, it's just like the martial arts philosophy, right? Where you turn defense into attack, or you don't waste your energy. It was like the Bruce Lee fighting style was, what he did was take every attack and work out a way to turn the defense of that attack into an attack. Yeah. So he didn't plan to attack. He planned to defend against what was happening and then change. So his style was never aggressive. It was always defensive. But he almost always had victory because his thinking was different. His thinking wasn't the classical thinking of how many different ways can I attack a person. It was always, how can I defend, and then how can I, because my defense takes away the power from my opponent, and how can I then channel that back. So it was very effective for him. And yeah, sometimes it's only talk about a year of crisis. Okay. I mean, I wonder if, it's not a big if, I think it's probably a fact, that the external pressure of everything happening in the world, which is not very logical, not very practical, also leads to an internal pressure as well for people to do things. Like, here's an example. During this health crisis that we have, it's very important to stay together. It's very important to look after each other. It's very important to take care of each other's health and the health of everybody around about you. You can't do that if you're not working together on the same page. Yeah. Why add more problems to an already problematic situation? Why? Because you think life is not difficult enough for people right now? The largest worldwide economic, health, social crisis maybe in history, if we don't look at the wars, right? Maybe in history. So at this point in time, it's very important to be aware and to care and be together and to spend time on all the things that matter and get through the difficult things together, and then maybe somewhere out on the other side, or maybe you can say now, look, I'm unhappy, but I know we still need to work together to solve these problems, and then out on the other side we can discuss about the next stage, the next way, the next step. So that you can say that there's never a good time, okay, but also you don't have to pick a really complicated time to do things as well.
Mm.
to make things even more complex, to make things even more difficult, right? So it's odd. Like I said, the time scale of the suddenness of the problem is ridiculous. Like to be on Friday, everything's okay, and then to be on Monday, absolutely nothing's okay.
Yeah. Everything is different.
Oh yeah, and that was one of the things I said to her when we talked. I said, you understand that you can't go back, and I know that we can't ever, go back. We can only go forward. But you understand that there's some things you change, some things you break, you can't fix, right?
Mm-hmm.
You understand that? This was my conversation with you. You understand that, right? There's some things that you can say, well, maybe I'm not sure. Maybe we'll wait and see. Give me time. Let me think. Whatever. But there's some stuff you break, you can't fix.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, I think it's a little bit dangerous to close all the doors. I don't mean that you should keep all options open at all times. Maybe that's not a good idea either. But and obviously you can't go back. You can only go forward. But you want a clear, positive path.
Mm-hmm.
With these clear objectives and goals and points of, I'm going to get to this point, and it's going to be, and this is what I want, and the next point, and the next point, and so on. And so it's it's wild. It's really wild. You got to deal with all the stupid shit of kids then having to cope with two sets of parents. Well, what's that about? That's not very nice, right? And I've seen. I've never seen a positive example of that, right? There's always it always just creates more conflict because it's just more confusing.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to keep more sets of people happy, and there's more there's more emotional manipulation. There's more games being played. There's more problems with money, right? Because money influences people's decisions as well. It's it's really complicated to navigate, and a lot of great. I mean, like as you said, the most important thing is the kids, right? It is, and there's no experience better than personal experience, right?
Yeah.
Right.